Tonight, we'll be exploring the channeled messages of story waters. We're going to be focusing on what we think are some of the most important core ideas and concepts, unpack some of the real depth and nuance of story's work,
Awesome.
So one of the things that really stood out to me, right off the bat, story talks about recognizing our inherent divinity.
Mm-hmm.
To know you are God is to know you are love. What do you think about that?
It challenges us to kind of redefine our understanding of God. It's not about this external entity, this being up in the clouds, right? It's about recognizing that spark of the divine within each of us, that we are all at our core expressions of that same universal love and creative power.
And he talks about this veil of forgetting that we kind of choose to adopt when we enter the physical realm.
We choose to sort of forget our unity with Source in order to really experience the fullness of individuality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're playing this game of hide and seek with our true selves, and it allows for a more profound experience of separation and ultimately reunion.
It's not about denying our individuality, but recognizing that it's all part of this larger tapestry of consciousness.
It's within that tapestry that we encounter fear. And story has such a fascinating perspective on fear. Fear is not wrong. It is that which allows our separation. So instead of seeing fear as this negative thing, he presents it as a tool, a force that allows us to kind of define ourselves, create boundaries.
Right. It really shifts our whole relationship with fear, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to avoid it all the time.
Absolutely. And this kind of leads into his perspective on suffering too.
Yeah.
Story believes that suffering arises when we resist the flow of life. We judge our experiences as mistakes or cling to certain outcomes. We create this inner turmoil, and that leads to suffering. He emphasizes that we have the power to release suffering, to release that turmoil by choosing to live in allowance, to let go of control, and to trust the unfolding of life.
Okay. It's like surrendering to the current of a river instead of always trying to swim upstream.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And just as a river flows and changes, story reminds us that change is just an essential part of growth. He uses money as an example, actually, something that we often associate with abundance, but it can also bring up this fear of change.
Because it challenges our comfort zones, our beliefs about who we are, what we're capable of.
Exactly. It's scary sometimes. He's encouraging us to embrace change, to see it as an opportunity, for evolution.
Yeah.
And to truly embrace change, we need to learn to live in the now. The present moment, that's the only place where true freedom exists. He says the unfolding the now is the threshold of revelation.
So powerful, right? To be fully present, to let go of the past, the future, and just experience the richness of each moment as it unfolds.
To really experience that richness, he invites us to awaken our inner senses, to go beyond the physical and tap into this multidimensional reality.
Yeah. It's like we've been given this amazing set of senses, these inner tools for perception, but we've kind of forgotten how to use them, haven't we?
And then, of course, there's channeling.
Oh, right. One of the things story's really known for.
He describes channeling using this tuning fork analogy.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one, yeah.
It's about aligning frequencies, with the energy or being that you're channeling, not about being possessed or losing control or something like that.
Right. It's not about you're not taken over by some other entity.
No, not at all. It's conscious. It's co-creative.
I see. So both the channeler and the energy being channeled, they're both actively participating. And I love how he really challenges those who, might misinterpret these spiritual teachings, right? He really questions the idea of blindly accepting everything. He urges us to set healthy boundaries and recognize that not everyone is on that same path of awakening.
What resonates with us? What feels true?
And he talks about recognizing this program of reality, and he encourages us to see those patterns, those beliefs, the structures that shape our experience, and to realize we actually have the power to change them.
We're not stuck.
No. And he says if seeing that program starts to, create fear, we need to slow down, check in with ourselves, and remember that we're in control of our own awakening process. We don't need to rush it.
Let fear and joy be our guides, to move at our own pace, and to embrace this journey of self-discovery with a sense of wonder and acceptance.
It's a message of self-empowerment, isn't it? Of liberation. Right. It's about recognizing our own innate wisdom.
And becoming conscious creators
Yeah.
of our reality.
And part of that conscious creation, I think, involves understanding the role of belief. Story states that our beliefs actually shape our experience of reality. He encourages us to examine our beliefs, to release the ones that no longer serve us, and to choose beliefs that empower us, that align with what we really want.
He's basically saying, if you don't like the reality you're experiencing, change your beliefs, right?
Yeah.
And a big part of that change often involves letting go of judgment. Story urges us to release judgment of ourselves, of others. He asks this really thought-provoking question. He says, can you release judgment of those that go to war? Can you imagine Source choosing to embody as a being that wants to go to war?
Wow.
He's pushing us to really expand our perception of Source, to see beyond our limited definitions of good and bad, and to embrace the vastness and complexity of creation.
Right. He's asking us to see the divine in everything, even in the things that we might find difficult or uncomfortable.
Yes. And to recognize that we are all expressions of that same divine source, all interconnected, all ultimately one.
It really is a profound shift in perspective. It's about recognizing that we are not separate from Source.
Yeah.
We're intimately intertwined with it.
We came from Source. We chose to forget our unity in order to have this human experience. And he encourages us to embrace this journey with this sense of wonder and curiosity, to explore the depths of our being and ultimately awaken to our true nature as divine being. It's not about achieving enlightenment, but about becoming conscious of what we already are.
I love how he puts it. He says, these are not things you have to work towards. These are not things to achieve. They are what you are. To be what you are consciously, become conscious of all that you are. It's about recognizing that inherent divinity and stepping into our full potential, right?
And it's about understanding that we are the creators of our own reality. You are unlimited in how you write your story. You are that which creates your story. You are that which creates. You are the creator. You are source consciousness.
We have the power to choose, to create, to shape our experience.
According to our deepest desires, our intentions.
And to truly step into that power, I mean, we need to connect with the essence of Source, right? He says, and that is what Source is. Source is creation itself. Source is beingness. It is not a person. It is that which is all the beingness in all of creation. So Source isn't this distant entity, but rather the very fabric of existence.
The creative force that flows through all things.
Exactly. And as expressions of Source, we have that same creative power within us. It's a profound shift in perspective to see ourselves as expressions of the divine, as co-creators with Source, shaping reality with our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions.
And to fully embrace that power, we need to let go of our limiting beliefs. Story challenges the notion that there are right or wrong choices. He emphasizes the power of belief to manifest our experiences.
If we believe something is true, then for us it becomes true.
And that's why it's so important to choose our beliefs carefully. If we want to experience a reality of abundance and joy, freedom, we need to choose those beliefs that align with that vision.
So instead of focusing on what we don't want, we need to focus on what we do want.
Yes.
To believe in the possibility of our dreams, of our desires.
He's encouraging us to become conscious creators, to shape our reality with intention, with awareness. And part of that conscious creation, it involves releasing judgment. Story invites us to let go of the need to label things as good or bad, right or wrong. Release all that tells you otherwise. That is the old choice. Release it. Release yourself.
So it's about embracing a wider perspective, seeing the value in all experiences, recognizing that everything is ultimately part of this larger unfolding.
We're all on a journey of growth and evolution. And every experience, even the ones we perceive as negative, they serve a purpose.
It's about trusting the process, even when we don't, fully understand it.
And it's about connecting with that wisdom, that guidance that's always available to us.
Like an open invitation.
It is. It's like he's inviting us to step into this deeper relationship with our own inner guidance, with our spirit guides, with that divine presence that's always with us. He's assuring us that we're not alone, that we're supported, we're loved unconditionally.
Yeah.
And he reminds us that we are all connected. He uses this beautiful analogy of a circle divided into 12 parts to represent the different aspects of ourselves and of source consciousness. He says, but I just want you all to understand that doesn't make us 12 separate things. We all contain all 12. We all contain the full circle of 12, but we choose to align, and you can follow that alignment back and kind of meet the one of your 12.
So even though we experience ourselves as separate, we actually all contain the same essential qualities, the same potential.
Yes, the unity beneath the apparent diversity, to recognize that we are all expressions of that same source, all interconnected and ultimately one.
It's a powerful message of unity, of interconnectedness.
And, he emphasizes the importance of personal sovereignty. He says, you are the determinant of your truth, and it is wonderful to go out into the world and hear these other sources and ideas such that you may taste their flavor, but understand that is all, any truth is a flavor. He's encouraging us to be discerning, in our spiritual explorations, to trust our own inner guidance, to ultimately choose what resonates with our own hearts.
He's saying that we don't need to blindly follow any teacher or ideology,
Right.
but rather to cultivate our own understanding of truth based on our own experiences and insights.
Exactly. And he challenges the idea that there's one right way to understand spirituality. He says, and you may say, I like that flavor, or I do not. And even if you like the flavor, you do not need to become attached to it. You do not need to pronounce it as some ultimate truth. Truth is not this absolute thing, but it's a reflection of our own individual perspectives, our experiences.
So it's not about finding the right answer,
Yeah.
but about exploring those different perspectives.
Yes.
And allowing ourselves to be guided by what feels true to us, what resonates with us.
And he emphasizes the importance of recognizing that we are all, expressions of source consciousness. He says, you are the creator, you are source consciousness. And that is what source is. Source is creation itself. Source is beingness. It is not a person. It is that which is all the beingness and all of creation. He's inviting us to step into our power as creators, to recognize that divine spark within us.
As divine beings, and to co-create this reality that reflects our highest aspirations.
And he reminds us that reality isn't fixed or predetermined. It's this dynamic, ever-evolving process that we are actively shaping with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. Your beingness is the experience of your unfolding creation. This includes not only your complete inner experience, but also the experience of your external reality. You are experiencing different aspects of beingness through the creation of your reality. He's inviting us to trust the flow of life, to surrender to the unknown, and to allow ourselves to be guided by this higher wisdom.
It's about letting go of the need to control everything.
Right, yes.
And allowing ourselves to be surprised by the beauty and the wonder of the unfolding creation.
And it's about recognizing our own divinity.
Yeah.
And stepping into that full potential as creators. He says, to fully experience your godhood is to connect with the power of creation that you are. To fully experience anything is to be it. That is what creation is. Creation is the power to be. He's challenging that traditional view of God as this separate entity, right? Instead, he's emphasizing the immanent divinity that resides, that lives within each and every one of us.
Yeah. He's inviting us to embrace our creative power, to step into our role as co-creators with Source, and to manifest our dreams and desires into reality.
And he encourages us to see our experiences, both the positive and the negative ones, as opportunities for growth and expansion. To be in allowance is to be in the flow of life. To be attached or detached to an outcome is to be within the illusion of separation. Allowance is beyond the polarity of attached-detached. It is simply to allow being to be. He's inviting us to surrender to the flow of life, to trust the process, to let go of the need to control the outcome.
So it's recognizing that even our most challenging experiences, they can actually serve as catalysts for profound transformation and awakening.
Fear is not the enemy, but rather a teacher, guiding us towards greater self-awareness and liberation. Fear is not wrong. It is that which allows our separation. Beyond your fear is your unity with life. To face your fear and stand in your resistance is, therefore, to take down a wall you have created.
So he's encouraging us to face our fears, but with courage, with compassion, and to really understand the lessons that they hold, right? And ultimately to transcend them through a deeper understanding of ourselves and our connection to Source.
We are the architects of our own reality, creating our experiences through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. He says, the understanding of how it is impartial is the realization that you are the creator. You are the driver. You are the determinant of what unfolds in your reality.
to choose, to create, to transform our reality.
Absolutely. And it's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. All is a reflection. It is only when there's a belief that certain things are inherently wrong that the idea of being led to what you fear is a hellish idea versus the clear path to freedom from fear. There is no such thing as non-physical to a physically defined sense. There is nothing in existence which, when viewed through a physically focused sense, is not found to possess qualities that can be perceived physically. We are, spiritual beings having a human experience, and that our true nature is limitless, it's unbounded.
He's inviting us to open ourselves up to the possibility of a multidimensional reality, to explore those realms beyond the physical.
Enlightenment is not this distant goal. It's a state of being that's always available to us, waiting to be realized. Enlightenment is the choice to awaken to our collective nature. Enlightenment is to awaken to what we have always been. Enlightenment is to see through the illusion of fear that has separated us. He's inviting us to step into a state of unity consciousness and to recognize that divine spark that resides within every being.
We're already enlightened. It's just a matter of becoming conscious of what we truly are.
And he encourages us to embrace the cyclical nature of life, to see beyond the linear perspective of time, and to recognize those patterns that weave through our experiences. He says, the story the ring tells is linear in nature. All language is linear in that we read or speak it one word at a time in a defined order. We experience the events of our lives in just the same way. He's reminding us that endings are also beginnings, and that life is this continuous dance of creation, destruction, and renewal.
It's like a circle.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. He's inviting us to let go of our attachment to linear time and to experience the fullness of each moment, and to embrace the beauty and the perfection in all stages of that cycle. Release all judgment and just experience life as an experience you are giving yourself in order to have the experience of experiencing it. Or, more simply put, just be. You have given yourself this experience with love. See the love in the experience. It permeates all life because you are choosing this experience with love from a point of total freedom. You are love. Love permeates all. He's inviting us to step into the state of pure being, to experience life with this sense of wonder and awe, and to recognize that love that permeates all of creation.
That is beautiful. It's a beautiful invitation to let go of our judgments.
Yeah.
Embrace the fullness of our experience, and to live from a place of love and acceptance.
It really is. And it's about recognizing that fear can be a powerful tool for growth and expansion, as long as we're willing to face it and transform it. Fear is in some ways the opposite of that, but it is also a wonderful tool of creation, which creates the very experience of opposite, of duality, of physicality, of time-space matter. Releasing fear collapses the duality, collapses the judgment, collapses the separation that divides. He's encouraging us to see fear not as an enemy, but as a teacher,
Right.
guiding us towards greater self-awareness and liberation.
So shifting our perspective on it, right? Seeing it as a catalyst for transformation, and using it as a tool for our own evolution.
We are all expressions of the one self, interconnected and ultimately one. All that experiences on some level has an experience of I, though it can be radically different from what we experience as I. However, even within the Earth human experience, what each of us calls I can be radically different. We just assume it to be the same. The I, created through physical embodiment with a finite lifespan, such as being human, creates the experience of the most absolute I that there is within Source. It is the deepest I.
That we're all part of this grand tapestry of existence.
Exactly. And he encourages us to let go of our attachment to our stories and to allow ourselves to be transformed by the unfolding of our experiences. You are the experience and you are the creator of the experience. All outside of that is illusion. You create the illusion to experience it. The experience is that which is real. The experience is that which unfolds your being. The experience of the unfolding of your own story is in the now, but it is your story that holds you from the now. The experience of all that becomes limited when you experience it through a tightly defined story.
To see beyond the limitations of those self-created narratives.
Yeah.
And to embrace the freedom and spontaneity of the present moment.
We are not our stories, but rather the authors of them.
Yeah.
And we have the power to rewrite those narratives, at any time.
So stepping into our power as creators.
Yes.
Reclaiming our stories.
Yeah.
And shaping our reality according to our deepest truths.
Source isn't like this separate entity, but it's the very essence of our being, the creative force that flows through us. You are unlimited in that creation. You are unlimited in how you write your story. You are that which creates your story. You are that which creates. You are the creator. You are source consciousness. And that is what source is. Source is creation itself. Source is beingness.
We are source consciousness, experiencing itself as human beings.
Yes.
That we have the power to create and to shape our reality. To truly step into that power, we need to connect with our spirit, with that wider reality of our being. He says, learning to connect with your spirit is not learning to connect with another place. It is learning to connect with the wider reality of you. Our spirit is not separate from us, but rather a deeper aspect of ourselves that we can access through conscious intention, through practice.
He's encouraging us to explore our inner landscape, to connect with our intuition, our inner guidance, and to allow our spirit to really guide us on our journey of growth and transformation.
It's about recognizing that vastness and the depth of our own being and that incredible potential that lies within each of us.
And it's about embracing change, letting go of those rigid identities and being open to new experiences, new possibilities. Whatever you allow into your life will change your life. To let it in, you have to let go of this hold you have on your story so that it can change. This is to let go of your definition of yourself. As a human, you can choose to be tightly defined, but your spirit exists outside of such definition.
He's encouraging us to release our attachment to who we think we are,
Mm-hmm.
to embrace that, the fluidity, the dynamism of life, and to allow ourselves to be transformed by the unfolding of our experiences.
And he's reminding us that change is inevitable.
It is.
And it's through embracing change that we grow, that we evolve, that we discover our true potential.
It's about surrendering to the flow, trusting the process, and knowing that we're always being guided and supported, even in the midst of change.
It's so interesting because he says, money is change. If you let money into your life, it will change your life. You cannot ask for exactly the same life, but with money. Who you are will change with money. It can be no other way. It may bring you joy. It may bring you fear. It will definitely bring change.
And he's reminding us that abundance is our birthright, that we are all deserving of prosperity and fulfillment.
He challenges us to let go of that scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And to embrace a consciousness of abundance, knowing that the universe is infinitely abundant and that we are always, always supported, always provided for. Lack of abundance is a primary way of defining your own boundaries and limitations. All the things you would be doing if you had the money. Well, if you get the money, you are then faced with those new potentials. And this is something to think about with abundance, the choices that it will bring towards you, options that you have been holding away, and the change that unfolding those potentials represents.
It's like we have to be ready for those changes, those shifts that abundance can bring.
It's about being open to receiving, to trusting that the universe will provide for our needs. And he emphasizes the importance of following our joy, allowing our passions to guide us. When we're aligned with our true purpose, that abundance flows naturally.
So it's not just about wanting more money, but about aligning ourselves with our highest aspirations and allowing that abundance to flow into, all areas of our lives.
Our physical bodies, they're an integral part of this journey.
Right.
And we need to love and care for them. He says, you cannot disregard your body and expect it to live in a balanced way through the polarization of your mind. Feel your body to be a part of your consciousness. But equally understand that, as with everything in existence, it can also be said to have its own consciousness, a reflection of your own gift of individuality and independence. It is a part of you that has to be loved and integrated like every other part if you wish to be all that you are.
Yeah, it's like seeing our body as this sacred temple, right? Nourishing it with healthy food, with exercise, with rest, and honoring its needs and limitations.
Exactly. Our bodies they're not separate from our spirits. They're an extension of them, a vehicle for our souls to experience this physical world.
To cultivate that sense of gratitude for our bodies, to really appreciate all the amazing gifts that they offer.
And he's encouraging us to develop our inner senses, in order to experience the full spectrum of reality. Feel the space before you go in. And this can be done within seconds as you walk up to the door. Can also be done on the way. Feel it before you go in. Feel yourself. Traverse the space. Project yourself into the space. Traverse it and feel it. Sense it. Arrive at the space. Look around and compare what you felt with what you see. Overlay the two experiences.
So exploring our intuition,
Yeah.
listening to that inner guidance, developing maybe even our psychic abilities.
Yeah, exactly. He's reminding us that we're all capable of accessing these higher realms of consciousness, that we have this power to perceive beyond the limitations of the physical world.
Right. It's like stepping into this world of magic and wonder, trusting our inner knowing and allowing ourselves to be guided by that higher wisdom. So reclaiming those innate psychic abilities, trusting our intuition, and experiencing the world in a whole new way.
It's exciting, isn't it?
We are here on Earth by choice. He says, the obstacles of this lifetime are not some side effect of coming to this kind of world. In coming to this world, you are not entering some out-of-control experiment that you are trying to rectify. You are not here out of any sense of duty or commitment. You are not here because there are obstacles in this world that need facing. You are in this world because you enjoy being here.
I love that. Such a beautiful message. He's challenging the idea that we're here to, suffer or to atone for past mistakes or to fix the world.
Yeah.
We're here because we chose to be here, because we delight in this experience of being human.
It's about embracing that fullness of our human experience, the joy and the sorrow, the challenges, the triumphs. It's about recognizing the beauty and the wonder of this world and allowing ourselves to fully experience it.
And he talks about this concept of differentiation, how the universe is constantly dividing and subdividing, creating this infinite variety of forms and experiences. He says, what is being described here is an adventure into ever greater degrees of differentiation, where the one experiences itself simultaneously from within many individualized holographic, meaning each part contains the whole, fragments. It was the greatest explosion of consciousness since Source the I Am became self-aware. It was the creation of life as we now know it.
It's like the universe is constantly expanding, creating new possibilities, new experiences.
Exactly. And he suggests that space and time they're two sides of the same coin, both being expressions of differentiation. I am separate from you through the quality of us having different physical bodies that occupy different positions in space. Space-time is the primary form of differentiation. If we wish to meet up for a coffee, we must not only specify the coffee shop, space, we must also specify the time. In this way, time and space can be seen to define separate events experiences.
So our perception of separation is created by our experience of space and time.
Right.
But what if we could transcend those limitations? What then?
We can access different points in time through our consciousness. He uses this analogy of a book. In this analogy, these divisions, words, paragraphs, chapters, are purely human-defined markers. In the wider reality, it is a continuous, smooth dimension from the universal, simultaneous perception of source all the way to extremely focused, individuated perception.
So it's like we're all reading from the same book, but we're each choosing to focus on a different page.
Exactly. And he suggests that we have the ability to jump around in time.
That's fascinating. So time is not as linear as we typically experience it, but rather this fluid and flexible dimension that we can navigate, maybe even with our consciousness.
It's a cool concept. And, he challenges the belief that reality is like a prison, that we're trapped in a cage. If you believe that the definition of physicality is a cage and that you are on a path to free yourself from that cage, then it begs the question, who or what force put you in the cage to begin with? Why are you caged? Why are you where you do not want to be? This is the suffering that is in the heart of the energy of seeking to escape your reality rather than finding peace within it. It is the belief that this is a problem that must be solved or a mistake that must be rectified. It's a common belief, especially in spiritual circles, that we need to escape from this physical world in order to achieve enlightenment.
Right, that we have to transcend this reality. Right?
Yeah. But he's suggesting that true freedom comes from embracing the fullness of our human experience, including the physical realm.
Okay, so it's not about escaping from reality, but about transforming our relationship with it.
Exactly. He invites us to see our physical bodies not as prisons, but as sacred temples, as vehicles for our souls to experience the beauty and the wonder of creation.
I love it. That's such a beautiful way to look at it.
And he talks about our energy body as this bridge between, our spirit and our physical form, He says your energy body is therefore something that bridges between your spirit and your physical expression, meaning it expresses qualities from both states of existence. It is the midway translation of your non-physical self into physicality, but it is a midway point that has its own validity, perspective, and existence. So it's not just a metaphysical concept, it's real, you know?
Yeah.
It's this tangible energy field that interacts with our physical body and with the world around us.
She's saying it's both, right? It's both physical and non-physical at the same time.
Exactly. And he explains that, our energy body, it can hold wounds, blockages that can manifest as physical or emotional pain. And he emphasizes this connection between resistance and fear. He says, in terms of this discussion, resistance and fear can be thought of as the same thing.
So when we resist what is, when we try to control or change things that are beyond our control, we create that fear and suffering.
Within ourselves, he encourages us to work with our energy body to release those blockages and to restore that harmony and balance to our being. And he reminds us that healing is possible.
Yeah.
That we have the power to transform those wounds into sources of strength and wisdom. It's a message of hope and empowerment.
It is.
Reminding us that we're not, victims of our circumstances, but rather these powerful creators who have the ability to heal, to transform.
Exactly. We have that power within us.
We do. Our experience of separation, it's an illusion. It's a choice that we make to experience individuality.
That's a pretty mind-bending concept to consider, this idea that we are all interconnected and our sense of separation is ultimately an illusion.
We're all expressions of that same source consciousness, each playing this vital role in the grand tapestry of existence. We are all source. We are all that is. We are the one consciousness. That which separates is the placement of this line that creates the mirror.
So it's like this mirror that reflects back to us our own perception of reality.
And he suggests we have the power to choose where we place that line of separation, to expand our awareness and to experience greater unity with all that is.
It's not about denying our individuality, but recognizing that it's all part of this larger whole, right? This tapestry of consciousness that we're all woven into.
Beautifully said. He talks about the importance of recognizing that the earth is not separate from us, but rather a reflection of ourselves. He says, what I'm speaking of here is the core heart of Source, that which just is. All layers of reality that emerge from it are forms of self-contemplation, forms of reflection. The earth is therefore not something separate from us that we are within. It is a reflection of us.
That's a really profound perspective shift, to see the earth not as something, external to us, but as an integral part of our being.
He suggests that our relationship with the earth is a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. If we treat the earth with respect and care, we're essentially treating ourselves with respect and care.
It highlights the interconnectedness of all things,
Yeah.
right? The way in which our actions and choices impact not only ourselves, but the world around us.
To awaken in the terms we have been speaking of is to come to see this mirror, to see how you are your own reality. There's no such thing as an objective truth. He says opening up to the relative rather than the absolute is not easy because the nature of physical matter so strongly convinces us that reality is an absolute, solid, objective thing.
Right. It can be a challenging concept to grasp. This idea that our reality is this co-creation. It's a reflection of our own beliefs and perceptions.
He suggests that we need to let go of the need to be right and to embrace the multiplicity of perspectives that exist.
It's about recognizing that everyone has their own unique perspective, their own way of seeing the world, and that no one perspective is inherently right or wrong.
He challenges us to open our minds to new possibilities, to release that attachment to fixed ideas, and to allow ourselves to be surprised by the mystery and the wonder of creation.
It's about embracing the unknown, surrendering to the flow of life, and trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly.
We can redefine our relationship with fear, turning it into a form of excitement. He says, by altering your understanding of fear, you can radically redefine your relationship with it, such that you relate to it positively as a form of excitement.
Seeing fear not as something to be avoided, but as an opportunity for growth, for for expansion.
Exactly. And he reminds us that, we are all expressions of the one self, interconnected and ultimately one. He says, we are each the one self. Your human self is a level of consciousness that remains after applying a selective pattern of unconsciousness onto the one self. To encompass this wider reality of our being, to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, and to experience that unity that lies, beneath the surface of separation. He says, that which is to be perceived as other non-physical layers of reality is made deeply unconscious and is barely perceived. That which is to be your outer reality is made partially conscious, such that it is perceived, but not as being a part of you, but as something you are contained within. That which is your personal self remains conscious. This results in the inner self and outer world differentiation of your experience.
It's a fascinating way to think about the nature of reality and how we create our experience of separation through selective consciousness.
He's suggesting that we have the power to choose what we focus on, what we allow into our awareness.
And by expanding that awareness, we can experience greater unity, greater interconnectedness.
It's about moving beyond the limitations of our egoic perception,
Right.
And recognizing that vastness, that interconnectedness of all things.
And he talks about the importance of recognizing that we're all collective beings, made up of many different aspects and facets. He says, the fundamental building block of the collective self is the individual. An individual is the whole unified self with a pattern of unconsciousness applied to it. Individuals are states of collective consciousness that are within the experience of being unconscious of their collective nature. Through every individual, the one self adds a new dimension of perception.
That's a beautiful image to consider. This idea of each individual being this unique expression of the collective consciousness, adding a new dimension of perception to the whole.
Exactly. He suggests that we're all like, different cells in a body, each with a specific function to perform, yet all working together to create this harmonious whole. It highlights the importance of recognizing and honoring those unique gifts, those unique contributions of each individual.
It's a beautiful vision. He's inviting us to step into that state of unity consciousness.
We are all interconnected, sharing this same consciousness and working together to create a more beautiful, a more harmonious world.
To recognize our shared humanity and to embrace the love and compassion that connects us all.
It's a beautiful message of hope,
Yeah.
a message of interconnectedness, reminding us that we are all in this together and that we have the power to create that better world, for ourselves and for future generations.
He encourages us to connect with our spirit, to embrace our true nature, and to allow our divinity to shine through.
And that our spiritual nature is just as real and important as our physical nature. It's about remembering our divine essence, our connection to source, and that limitless potential that lies within us. Well, this has been a truly amazing exploration of Storywater's teachings.
He offers such a unique and empowering perspective on spirituality, one that emphasizes our inherent divinity, our creative power, and our ability to shape our own reality.
He encourages us to question everything, to trust our intuition, and to ultimately create a life that's aligned with our deepest truths.
If you're feeling inspired to learn more about Storywaters, I highly recommend checking out his books and channeled messages.
Absolutely. And as you go about your day, dear listener, remember Story's question. Can you believe there is nothing in reality you need to shield yourself from?
Let that question guide you on your journey.
So keep diving deep, my friends.
And keep trusting yourselves.
We'll see you next time.